What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bleav in Hornets podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network. My name is Sam. Muggsy is with me. Muggsy, how you doing?
All's well, my brother. All's well.
Yeah. Cheers to you. Cheers to you.
Absolutely.
It's a great point in the season right now for the Hornets. Fans are back in the building. They got a nice little winning streak going on. We're getting into all of that in this episode, as well as some March Madness talk as well. But first, we got to wish a very special individual a happy birthday. I mean, it's a Hornets podcast. We have Muggsy Bogues on the podcast. So we can't not say happy birthday to Larry Johnson. So happy birthday to Larry Johnson.
You right, man. Got to wish the big fella happy B-Day, man. It's so great to see him still being part of this world in terms of being able to continue to give. You know, you're up there with New York, but it's just a blessing, man, to celebrate your birthday with your friends, even though we're not in the same presence with one another. And we can just, text each other and continue to communicate in that aspect. I got to see some of the highlights, the Hornets show yesterday, me passing him the ball, him doing his thing, slamming on some folks. So that was a good celebration tribute they gave him. So it's good to know that they still, a class organization that, even though if you're not part of them, in today's society, that they let you know they're still thinking of you.
Yeah, it's great. Like that. Hornets have Hornets have a lot of history with them. And it's great that they haven't forgotten about the beginnings,
Yes.
It's very important in sports. There's no now without the then. And so even being in the building, seeing your face, Larry's face, Dell's face, like all the legendary Hornets players around the arena is like really cool. I'm really glad they're holding on to the history of the franchise.
Yeah, they do a great job with the alumni, with the tradition, keeping it alive and keeping it relevant. And a lot of fans really enjoy that.
Yeah, so happy birthday, LJ.
Happy birthday, Big Sam.
We'll get into professional basketball in a second, but it's an exciting time of the year right now on the college scene. March Madness kicks off or tips off, to use the right sports analogy there, this Thursday with the first four, and the first round of the tournament is Friday. Muggsy, do you have any thoughts overall about March Madness? Anything you're looking out for? Anything looking forward to?
Man, this is the most exciting time for me, March Madness, because there's a lot of Cinderella teams that people don't really hear about, don't get the national attention on a daily basis. And you will hear some upsets. Here it is, you got Iona, Rick Pitino, 15 seed going into the tournament, and which is very surprising. So it could be an upset. Who knows? Facing a team like that, but that's what it's all about. Everybody have an opportunity. Everybody have a chance, even though it's now they're in a bubble. Where it's a little different than what it normally is. But this is some exciting time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, my school. Shout out to the Salukis, Southern Illinois University. Were last in their tournament in 2007. That spring, I enrolled in the fall of 2007. So they haven't been anywhere near the tournament since. So every year when the tournament rolls around, I'm just like I guess a third party to it, really, like able to be like really neutral about it. Really, really interested in the individual players and potential prospects coming out of the tournament who can make a jump, get more attention on them, maybe go from like second round pick to a first round pick, that type of thing. And even the superstars like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, Evan Mobley, those guys. Really looking forward to watching them play and seeing how they get busy in a very big stage. It's really cool. A lot of narrative going on, which is really fun. Plus, like you mentioned, one game can change a lot in an instant. That's what's special about sports.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, my university is nowhere to be seen or be mentioned part of NCAA basketball, which is Wake Forest. We got some time, but one day we will return, So I'm looking forward to that day. But right now I'm just going to enjoy the teams that are there because we're going to see some real excited young men showcase their talent to possibly be playing on that next level one day. But it's good to be a good time for a lot of people to really tune in because this is where you get excited. A lot of enthusiasm goes on with March Madness, and it's no skin in the game per se, I should say, unless you got your bracket.
Yeah.
But But this is what that's what you're looking forward to, seeing who'll be the last team standing.
Yeah, no, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And who doesn't like more sports on, you know?
Yeah, plus Gonzaga, they've been
Yeah.
#1 all year. You got Baylor. I mean, you got Michigan. I mean, who knows? I mean, Illinois. I mean, a lot of teams that's really, surprising. Florida State, then, here it is. Georgia Tech won the ACC. So you got a lot of surprising teams. You got 7 teams in the ACC, 9 teams in the Big 12. It's amazing. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. I'm keeping a close eye on it. It normal, like under normal circumstances. Not normal circumstances, because the Hornets are playing so well. Normally, I would be looking at the college tournament and be like, all right, who will be available in the lottery? It's looking like the Hornets won't be in the lottery this year, which is great. It's a really great thing.
That's a step in the right direction.
I'm knocking on wood because there's a lot of basketball left to be played. But they're playing really well. 4-game win streak. I think, are they 2 games above?
Well,
500 now?
You have 2 games, 20-18 right now. 20 wins, 6th place in standings. You got 20 wins, just like Boston. They got 20 wins. So
and
New York got 20 wins as well. But we still right there. We're still 6th place. This is a big road trip coming up. Looking forward to it. So, like I said, we got a 4-game winning streak going right now. So a lot of good things can happen.
And it's really great, the timing of the fans coming back into the building to carry the team to the finish line, so to speak. Because I was there Saturday for the Raptors game, and being there, hearing the folks in the building, around 3,000 people, around 3,000 fans in there. And I had a tough time imagining no one in there. Like, for these players to go from no one in the seats to people in the seats, and that has to mean something to them. I hope like that energy translate to the court.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because that's how we grew up. That's how players grew up, playing in front of fans, entertaining. Especially starts off from the blacktop, the girls out there watching, and then it translates into the gymnasium, and they watching still, and everybody else is watching as well. But that's where you feed from. That's where you get your energy from. And the guys, you got to give them so much credit being able to, play, throughout all of that. Not having the fans, not having that 6th man to cheer them on, to get them out, even though it's a professional sport. But you still like to have that extra adrenaline to get you over the hump. And that fan base is the one that carry you through. So having them back in the building for those last 2 games before they head off to the road trip, it can be very huge and very encouraging. So I'm glad the fans got a chance to see the team, first of all, and to see the players up close, see what the hype was all about. And I think the Hornets really lived up to it, and as well as Melo. So I'm just excited to see everybody starting to gel. We got everybody healthy, and let's see what happens.
Which is really great to see, and offers a lot of options from the bench. I think Brago made it clear that LaMelo's starting spot remains intact now that Devonte's healthy. Devonte is coming off the bench. He seems to be embracing that role as the 6th or 7th man. It's really weird because he comes in with other players. So, like, I can't say he's like, he's in that first unit off the bench. What do you make of Devonte in his new role? How he's embracing it? What you expect to see from him going forward?
Well, Devonte, he's a professional. He saw it coming. I mean, he knew that Melo was drafted number 2 for a reason, and knowing the position that he plays, man, he came in and played exceptionally well. And they didn't know how soon or how quickly, he would be able to, mature into that position right now. And here it is. It came quicker than they expected. And I think, and with Devonte being hurt, it just propelled, and it made it a lot easier for Melo to really showcase what he's capable of doing. And it also gave Devonte an opportunity to really sit back and reflect on that. It's a professional. I got to continue to stay as that and continue to, when my numbers call, go out there and do what I do and score the basketball, make guys around me better. And he hasn't missed a beat in that. And that's what makes the team that much stronger, because you have the Martin twins, and as well as Malik Monk. And now you got Devonte coming off the bench with that scoring punch. That adds a lot. So And with those guys in that rotation, it makes it difficult for a lot of teams to just focus on them because a lot of fresh bodies that's coming in, and it allows the Hornets to to play that brand of basketball night in and night out.
Yeah, it's kind of great. Like it's really great. If having those options, Devonte and Monk off the bench, like the backcourt is super solid. And you mentioned the Martin twins who can nail an open shot. Like at any point, they can hit back-to-back threes and really swing momentum. So there's some really strong contributors in the backcourt. I think the team could use some reinforcements in the front court somehow, some way. There's some guys are available veteran-wise, trade-wise. Even like now that the G League is over, or the bubble's over for the Swarm, with Vernon Carey and Nick Richards back in the fold, maybe in the second half we can see more of them to help add more depth in the front court. But the things are
but I don't think they more looking at. I don't think they fit as a rim protector. Plus they're young, and I don't think anybody's going to be counting on those guys. But it comes with a price. In terms of wanting that rim protector. I mean, you're gonna have to give up somebody.
Yeah.
And in the way that guys are playing and looking at the situation, you need Devonte Graham, Malik, could be available, for teams up there, and Malik Monk as well. Who knows? But where he's playing, they may want to, keep those guys part of that rotation because that's where the depth comes in. That's what creates the depth, those guys. But it's a lot of things that's been floated, and that's going to have to be addressed if they want to, try to take that next step, or they just want to stay put and see what they can do with this unit. But a lot of things are going to start to, become interesting as that deadline get closer and closer.
Is there anyone? So like LaMarcus Aldridge is out there. The Hornets wouldn't have to give up anything for him. I think. Well, the Drummond
if they get a buyout, if he decide to get a buyout.
So there's Drummond's kind of out there if he gets bought out. I think the Cavs are still holding out for a trade with him. We saw Blake Griffin come and go. Maybe Kevin Love. He's one of those guys like maybe a buyout candidate as well. Are there any names you think that would be that perfect fit for the Hornets to carry him the rest of the way, or at least contribute the rest of the way?
Right now, you got to be careful what you want to give up. You don't want to give up no first round picks and that sort of stuff because, that's what you kind of got your young players that you're trying to build around. That's the core. You heard rumors of possibly a Miles Turner or somebody in that sort, but that could be limited. Miles, even though he's leading block shots right now too, but I don't know if that really answer everything that you're trying to do. But who knows? Drummond is still a young guy. If he get bought out, and now to become interested. But then again, where his mindset is, do he want to go to a team that he feels though is a contender, somewhere like a Los Angeles and that sort of thing, the Clippers or whoever, or Brooklyn, I don't know. So as opposed to coming to, the Hornets. So those are a lot of things, I'm quite sure Mitch Kupchak and his staff is thinking about. But, young players, a Boucher, would be perfect for, but I know that the Raptors may not want to release him. Who knows? I don't know what Kyle Lowry and all that stuff going on and with Devonte Graham. So I don't know. But that would be a good piece that I would like, could, float around. But like guys like Alec and Wood at Houston, those guys, Jared Alec meaning at Cleveland and Wood at Houston, those guys ain't going anywhere. And Whiteside, from Portland, who knows that, but his contract and where his situation could be a good situation. So who knows?
Yeah, the deadline's coming up quickly. I was listening to, I think, another NBA podcast. They were saying like with the play-in games, more teams are in it basically. So fewer teams would be willing to make a move because they think they have a chance. So like there are fewer sellers than a normal season, a regular season, because more teams are like, all right, maybe we can get into that 10th or 9th spot and then make something happen. So maybe we don't trade a guy. So it's an interesting kind of setup ahead of the deadline. More nuances of it in it than a normal setup. But hopefully.
It all depends. I mean, you look at a team like Boston, the market obviously could fit in with a team like that. Who knows? Or a team like Phoenix, he could possibly fit in with a team just up and coming that's trying to, do some damage. But would he come to Charlotte? LaMarcus Aldridge, would he come to Charlotte? So, I mean, he sold those, it's a smaller market, and would he go back to Portland? I mean, those a lot of things that been floating around, and he gonna have to make that decision with, what's best for him.
That Rashawn Holmes from Sacramento looks pretty good too. Like he played him.
That's a possibility. That's exactly another one I was about to say, Holmes. And he's he could be available, with some interesting pieces, that we have and that they have. They're looking for. So who knows? We know they got Fox. So
yeah.
I mean, Devonte Graham, who knows? They might have a double do combination with the guards. I don't know. So, but they got Buddy Hill. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that goes into it.
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm. And then so from this point forward, there's the West Coast trip is kind of crazy. The Nuggets, the Clippers, and the Lakers. Not in that order. It's Denver, Lakers, Clippers in that order. Mm-hmm. For this next upcoming week. I like watching Jokic a lot. So I'm excited about that. And then obviously LeBron and Kawhi on the slate. Like it's cool to watch these superstars, MVP candidates go up against our guys to see how the Hornets measure up against some top tier NBA talent. What do you think about this road trip ahead of us and what the Hornets can kind of get out of it? Because I was watching that Kings game. All I could think about was like, we need to win this game. The Hornets need to win this game because it's going to get tough after this. So what do you think about the Nuggets, Clippers, and Lakers here on the schedule coming up?
Well, I mean, the Hornets did exactly what they're supposed to do. Took care of business at home because, as you alluded to, it gets tough on the road. And this will be an opportunity to see exactly who they are and what they're capable of because they're going to be playing against a lot of elite teams. Denver Nuggets, the Lakers, as well as the Clippers. And it'll put them at a standpoint to where they understand where they are elite-wise and what they need to continue to work on. Because the West and the East is, I always say is a little different brand of basketball, but, we had some success against some of the elite teams already, Brooklyn, the Mavericks and so forth. So it shouldn't be no difference in terms of being able to get up for those type of games. So, but it always came at home. The Mavericks was on the road. But so it's been a test for these guys, especially for the young guys. But it'd be interesting to see, how we do. And is it a 3-game road trip?
Yeah. So it's the Denver and the LA teams. And then I think there's 2 games against the Spurs and the Rockets.
Okay.
Going like after they spend their time on the West Coast.
Coming back. So it's like a 5-game West Coast trip.
Yeah. So Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, then the Spurs, then the Rockets, and then I think the Heat. Is this game in Charlotte? That's it. 1 second. Is this Spurs game in Charlotte? No. Okay. So yeah, the road trip ends in Texas, basically.
Okay.
They come back. First game back in Charlotte, so 26 against the Heat.
Mm-hmm. So it's a 5-game road trip.
Yep.
Yeah. So this could be a big swing. This could be a really because everybody's right there. That 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th spot. Looking outside, looking in, with Toronto and those guys. So we got nothing to really, spare, but hopefully not much to lose in terms of being able to, hold game or hold serve, I should say, on the trip. But it's going to be a challenge. That first one always is the best one to get, though.
Mm-hmm. And all that, like, I'm really happy that the team's healthy in the way they're playing. Like, I'm not, as a fan, I'm not scared of these games entirely. Like, obviously, all due respect to the Lakers and Clippers and Nuggets, like any one of those teams can win the West. But the Hornets are not going to be pushovers going into those games. And I'm really excited to see them stack up against them. It's going to be really fun to watch. Going to stay up late. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. They definitely ain't going to be no pushover, especially with that young fella pushing the ball down their throat. Let's just hope that, we can continue to stay healthy, as you say. But continue to put the ball in the basket. But defensively is going to be the key. If they can stop anybody. Right now, we're still only averaging 109 points per game, and I think we need to defend, and stop teams from scoring on us to be able to to come out on top. So I'm not afraid of them either. I'm not afraid of any of these teams, and I don't think the guys are. So it's going to be exciting to see how they start out.
Oh, most definitely. I can't wait. I just wish it wasn't so late in the day.
Yeah.
But time zones and that.
Yeah, it's West Coast. They pushed it up an hour, so you
gotta tough it out.
Yeah.
Well, it's well worth it. Those should be some good. That should be a lot. Not even some. It should be really good basketball. I'm really excited for that. Well, Muggsy, that's everything on the docket, so to speak. Is there anything else you want to get into before we say goodbye to everybody?
We done covered all of it. We covered the rumor trades, the NCAA. We talked about our boy's birthday, gave him a shout out. I got that and that. What else? I think we covered quite a pretty, broad topic there. I think we had a good show there today.
Yeah, no, it's always fun. Always great to chat with you, Muggsy. I appreciate it as always. And everyone out there, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next Wednesday. Everywhere podcasts are found. Bleav in Hornets is the name of the show. And my name is Sam. And from Muggsy Bogues, we're out of here.
We out.